Beginning Saturday, free agents can sign with new teams. The timing of the MLB offseason is unpredictable. Some years, the signings or trades come quickly. Some years, the biggest names linger on the market for months. J.D. Martinez signed on February 26 this past offseason. Jake Arrieta signed on March 12. Last year, nothing major happened until the first week of December, and that was mostly because the Marlins were committed to trading away their best players for 30 cents on the dollar. Dee Gordon was traded on deck. 7. Giancarlo Stanton was traded on deck. 11. The Phillies didn't do anything until December 15, when the Pat Neshek and Tommy Hunter signings were made official. Will this offseason move at such a glacial pace? My assumption is no. The statuses of Bryce Harper and Manny Machado will obviously delay other moves because the big market teams won't know whether to go with Plan B, but it just seems unlikely that Harper and Machado remain unsigned until January or February. The major players, the Phillies, Yankees, Dodgers and Cubs, to name a few, have to have an idea of what kind of prices to expect for those two players. This didn't creep up on teams. Front offices have been planning for the Harper-Machado class for years. The other factor to consider is the league is now a year wiser with how price valuations for free agents have changed. 5 to 7 years ago, Arrieta would have gotten a 5-year deal. But teams have gotten smarter over the years, especially with starting pitcher contracts. Overpaying slightly on a 2- or 3-year deal just makes more sense for teams than locking themselves into long-term deals that are crippling in the final couple years. While Harper and Machado will dictate the pace of the free agent market, they're in a completely different stratosphere than the next tier of position players like Josh Donaldson, Daniel Murphy, Jed Lowry, DJ LeMahieu, Brian Dozier, Marvin Gonzalez, A.J. Pollock, Michael Brantley and Nick Markakis. Most of those guys will be looking at 2- and 3-year offers. You're not going to see someone with an injury history like Murphy, Donaldson, Pollock or Brantley hold out for a 4-year offer that will never materialize. If the Phillies do miss out on Harper and Machado, here's a look at the position players and pitchers they could pursue. Click here to download the new My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Flyers, Sixers and Phillies games easily on your device. More on the Phillies updated 10:04 p.m. 2 left-handed pitchers with options on their contracts could change the complexion of the free agent market for the Phillies and any other team seeking starting pitching. Clayton Kershaw has until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday to decide whether to exercise the 2 years and $65 million remaining on his Dodgers contract. Update: the Dodgers announced late Wednesday night that they've pushed the deadline for Kershaw's decision back to Friday at 4 p.m. The Cubs have a $20 million club option to keep Cole Hamels for 2019. The option can be bought out for $6 million, but if the Cubs were to go that route, the $6 million would be paid by the Rangers as part of this past summer's trade. The Cubs are fully expected to retain Hamels though, after he dazzled for them in 12 starts. They're a big market team with rotation needs. No reason not to keep him for 1 year at $20 mil. What will Kershaw do? The Dodgers are the only franchise Kershaw has ever known. He's had a mind-blowing career, with a 2.39 ERA in just under 2,100 innings. Yes, there are the well-documented stumbles in October, but those represent about 5% of Kershaw's career innings. No team in baseball will hold it against him or let it diminish its interest in him. Even with the fastball velocity decrease, Kershaw has adjusted his repertoire to remain an ace. If Kershaw does opt out, it could simply be to conjure a bigger, long-term deal out of the Dodgers. If not, he will absolutely go to the best winning situation. If he becomes available, every club will contact his representatives and all of the big market, win-now teams will make enticing offers. It just seems impossible, Kershaw ending up in Philadelphia, even if he opts out, and the Phillies also prove they can win now by signing Bryce Harper or Manny Machado. That just wouldn't be enough of a guarantee at a ring for Kershaw, who will be 31 years old on March 19. He has reached the World Series in consecutive years only to watch his team fall short. It's hard to envision any scenario in which the 2019 Phillies offer him a better chance at a ring than the 2019 Yankees or Dodgers. How could the Phillies even pique Kershaw's interest? Maybe with a one-year, $45 million offer? Anything short of that probably won't even resonate. He'd be able to get $35 million a year for multiple years from multiple teams. He'd be able to get a huge one-year guarantee from many teams, and quite frankly, unless the Phillies make a series of awesome off-season moves, adding Kershaw alone won't make them a true World Series contender in 2019. The following players have already had their options picked up: Madison Bumgarner, $12 million club option; Carlos Carrasco, $9.75 million club option; Sean Doolittle, $6 million club option; Brett Gardner. Yankees declined his $12.5 million club option, but brought him back for $7.5 million. Click here to download the new My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Flyers, Sixers and Phillies games easily on your device. More on the Phillies Saturday night. Rhys Hoskins was at Wells Fargo Center to take in a Sixers game. In just a couple weeks, he'll be across the world, playing baseball with one of his teammates. Hoskins and Carlos Santana have been named to an MLB team managed by Miami Marlins skipper Don Mattingly that will travel to Japan in November to face a Japanese all-star team. This is the first trip MLB will make to Japan since an exhibition series in 2014. Shohei Ohtani impressed in that series. After a game against the Yomiuri Giants on November 8 in Tokyo, the team will play 6 games against the Japanese All-Stars from November 9 to November 14 in Tokyo, Hiroshima and Nagoya. Along with Hoskins and Santana, there are a number of other notable names on the roster, including Rookie of the Year contenders Juan Soto and Ronald Acuna Jr., Yadier Molina and Dodgers pitcher Kenta Maeda. The full roster can be found below, courtesy of MLB.com's Greg Johns. Full roster announced for MLB team traveling to Japan to face Japanese All-Star squad on November 9 to 15. In addition to Mitch Haniger, MLB team will also include Erasmo Ramirez and hitting coach Edgar Martinez from the Mariners. Pic.twitter.com/eskdpley5gs, Greg Johns, @GregJohnsMLB, October 29, 2018. Click here to download the new My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Flyers, Sixers and Phillies games easily on your device. More on the Phillies.